Hey everyone, Joey here, and today we're going to do a very quick look on the Anbernic RG477V, which is this behemoth right here, and I actually have it compared to the other verticals that I have in my house. So we have the original DMG Game Boy, the Analog Pocket right here, and then the Game Boy Color. And you can kind of see just how big this thing is in comparison. And that's going to be one of the themes of today. This thing is massive, it is huge, but I just wanted to do a very quick comparison so you can see all of them. Now, for those of you that maybe don't know a lot about the Anbernic RG477V, this has 8 gigabytes of RAM. It's the version I have here. There is a 12 gigabyte version as well for a lot more money, but I paid $225 US shipped for this. Now, there are a few benefits here. It has a Dimensity 8300 processor inside. Pretty powerful, really good enough for PS2 and GameCube and upscaled and all of that. Also has a 120 Hertz screen, and this is a 4:3 screen, which is kind of beautiful. So there is a lot to like here. But again, this thing is very, very big. We're gonna go back to that. It is very huge, it is very big. One of the things that I've kind of come to understand using this device for a little bit now is it's kind of heavy in a lot of different ways. So it's heavy right now, but with the way that I use it, and I'm playing like this, I find that my wrists have to bend up to get the screen to look at the angle that I want it to be. So it's hard to do this on camera, but if you're imagining like holding the device up so that the screen is in line with your eyes, I have to tilt up my wrist quite a bit. That makes it a little top heavy, and so I find it to not be very comfortable. So, I mean, the long story short of today's video is I don't find it comfortable. It's a little heavy, so this device is not for me, but there's a lot to like about this device if it is for you, and maybe you don't have the same problems I do. The screen is gorgeous. That is one of the standout features, so let's take a quick look at that. So here is Super Mario World. Again, 4:3 aspect ratio screen, IPS display, it's not OLED, but it's a gorgeous screen, and this is not the first time that we've seen this screen. It has been on the 477M, it's been on the 476H, which I would consider a better purchase than this. It's cheaper, it's horizontal, all of that, but if you want a very big Game Boy, then it's kind of what you want. But the screen, obviously, as we've seen in the other devices, is the standout feature. It's a gorgeous screen, and I really like it here, especially the 120 Hertz display. That helps with a lot with input lag, latency, response time, all of that fun stuff. So all of your inputs a lot quicker when it comes to 120 Hertz. And if you're used to, I don't know, I have my controls my controls aren't proper right now. But if you're used to a 60 Hertz Android display, 120 Hertz helps with a lot of that stuff. And that's really cool. And so while all the 4:3 content obviously is the best on this screen because it's a 4:3 screen, even something like PSP, because of the size of the screen and 16:9 nature, it's still very big. Like there is a lot of room here for PSP. So you don't really have to worry about that either. It's one of the benefits to this screen. You got a lot to work with. So something like PSP, still good, Game Boy Advance, all of that. There's not really a negative to 16:9 on this screen, but I mean, 4:3, you're going to be using it for those systems mostly. But again, PSP runs great here. All of the RetroArch systems, they run great. We can take a look at GameCube and PS2 next. So taking a look at GameCube, and I just went with one of the harder to run games, which is F-Zero. And we are at a 3x resolution. We're upscaled, 1080p. And yeah, it doesn't skip a beat at all for any of this, which is a good sign. It means it's on par and it can do most upscaled GameCube, a lot of upscaled PS2. You're gonna have a really good time with those systems. All 4:3 systems, and it looks great because it's all 4:3. You have no black bars if that's something that you're allergic to, all of that fun stuff. And I'm barely looking at the camera, so I don't know what I'm doing on screen. But all of this feels good. I will say that I am not a huge fan of the stick placement at the bottom. Like this control layout, not a huge fan of it, but it works. Like it's not a big deal. It's just something that I'm not super happy with. However, I will say that the D-pad and buttons are really good. The D-pad is a looser D-pad. It's not hard to push down at all or anything. It's got a nice loose pivot, which is really good. And the buttons are better than most of the Anbernic buttons. One of the things that they've been doing lately is making hard to push down buttons. And this is not as much as it is usually. So I bought a 405M recently, and it has harder to push down buttons than my original 405M did. But these are back to kind of in the middle ground between the old Anbernic buttons and the new Anbernic buttons. So these all feel good. It's just, again, the stick placement, I feel like double sticks, you're not gonna have a good time with, but otherwise it's fine. Now, one negative here for GameCube at least and Dreamcast is these are digital triggers, not analog. So you don't have that option here. I think one of the better reasons why the 476H is a better purchase, but it is less powerful. So it all depends on what you want to do. If you want PS2 and GameCube, then you want a device with the Dimensity 8300 like this. If you don't care about those systems and you care more about the older 4x3 systems, then you can go with something like the 476H instead. And so taking a look at PS2 as well, this is Burnout Revenge. We're playing at a 3x resolution. So there's a lot to work with here. The rumble is rumbling. There's a lot of rumble. It does not sound great. I'd probably turn that off. But the game is running perfect. I like using Burnout Revenge as a test game. It's a good test game because if this runs and runs well, then a lot of PS2 will. The problem games are going to be the problem games no matter what. But this processor, I mean, we've seen it now for a few different devices. It has no problems running PS2 and GameCube upscaled, which is, again, one of the reasons you would buy this is if you want to play those systems. This is all great. And you can go further than this if you want. You can do some Switch, you can do some PS3 for the games that work. There's even some Game Hub, Game Native for Steam games. You have a lot of different options. So this processor, better than you would expect for a Dimensity processor, that's for sure. And so again, this was just a quick look. I just wanted to talk about the device. I'm not going to be doing a full review on it. I'm not a big fan of it. Like I said, not comfortable for me, a little heavy, not something that I can comfortably hold for a while. And so I just wanted to do something with this device. If you're wondering about setup, I have an Android setup guide that will help you and get you all set up and running with all of this. It does come with a lot of emulators already pre-installed, but my usual suggestion is to delete them and then reinstall the newer versions and configure it how you want. But otherwise, you have everything that you need. Yeah, it's a decent device. Again, we don't have a lot of vertical devices, especially this size. This thing is big. Again, I can't overstate how big this device is. And so if that is something that interests you, then yeah, I guess it's a good option for that. I think for me, I am more of somebody that wants a device like the Analog Pocket, slimmer, smaller, kind of this form factor. It is still decently heavy, but it's a different, like it doesn't feel, I'm not feeling the same way that I feel when I hold the 477V. So things like the Analog Pocket, the Retro Pocket Classic, those are my types of verticals. But if you want a very big vertical with a really nice screen, then yeah, I mean, this is a good option. You're going to pay a lot for it. I think $225, it's more than I would want to pay for a device like this, but it's not like you're losing that much here. This is unique. It's got a nice screen. It's got kind of what you want. It's just, yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to see front-firing speakers, which they put on the bottom. I feel like you have so much room here for front-firing speakers, but they didn't do that. And analog triggers, although I don't know how you would do that on a device like this. But that's just nitpicking things. I think overall it's decent. It's a good device. Anbernic is kind of the king of decent devices, but they overprice things. So if you can get this cheaper than $225, might be a good option. But yeah, the screen is really the standout here, and that's kind of the main focus of this device. So like I said, just a very quick look. If there is anything you want to see specifically about this device that might be a good video idea, let me know. I'm happy to do something before I ship it out, but if not, this might be the only thing I do for it. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro handhelds. Support me through YouTube membership if you like my stuff. And hope you all have a good one.